What's up? Tyler from Plugged On. I'm here with an album review. This time I'm going to talk about the new album from Periphery, titled Periphery 4, Hail Stan. This is the follow-up to Periphery 3, Select Difficulty. This is their 6th record, and this is on 3 Dot Recordings, which is their own label. They are no longer with Sumerian Records. So, Periphery is an interesting band. I almost don't really know how to describe them. I mean, they have metalcore side to them at times. They have gentiness to them, progressive elements. They kind of incorporate a lot into their sound, and I've really enjoyed these guys for a long time now. And I reviewed the first single, Blood Eagle. I think that song is a banger, and I still think it is. It's one of my favorite songs on the album, and overall, I do think this album is pretty good. I don't. It's not their best. I don't think yet. I mean, of course, this is new, but I'm always going to kind of be a Periphery 2 guy. That's where this band really clicked for me. I did enjoy Periphery 3. The Juggernaut records are great. I think these guys are just good. So overall, like I said, I do think this album is good. And it starts off with Reptile, which is a 16 minutes track to open up the album, and I think it's honestly really strong. I mean, it goes through a lot of different motions, and it doesn't feel to me like it's long for long's sake. I feel like things kind of flow really naturally, and there's some great hooks along the way. There's a lot of heaviness to the song, but then a lot of slower parts and changes in tempo, about halfway through it. Spencer sounds great. The chorus is awesome. It's a really great track, and my favorite part is kind of towards the end. It feels a little bit more melodic, and it really hits, and I just enjoy the overall sound of that. And that brings me to one of my favorite points about this album to me, is I feel like, yes, the heaviness is there, but I feel like the softer moments, the cleaner side of them, stands out a little bit more on here than the heavier side. I think the heavier side is there, and it works really well. It pops really well in the production. Blood Eagle's a great example. Reptile, Follow Your Ghost. Those are great heavy tracks that just sound really good, but to me, some of the softer stuff, some of the more emotional stuff, just sticks with me a little bit more on this one than past Periphery albums. I think an example of that, is Garden in the Bones. Is a beautiful song. It Only Smiles is another great song, very kind of uplifting song, which I enjoy from Periphery. Satellites, ending the song with nearly 9 minutes. Or ending the album with about an 8 or 9 minute track, is one that, for some reason, I just, like I said, those songs just hit a little bit more to me than past Periphery songs, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's the production, if it's just the feeling that they put into it, if it's the way Spencer's delivering on the vocals, the combination between the vocals and the guitar. I mean, it all really kind of comes together in those tracks, but there's some really great moments. I think Spencer sounds fantastic. I mean, the guy, he gets better, I think, every record, and this one's no different. I think his clean vocals definitely outshine his screamed vocals on here. There's some times where certain pronunciations or rhythms, I think, is a little strange with some of his scream vocals on this album, but cleans, I mean, the guy's just killing it, and he has a great voice, and I think those tracks he really stands out great with. And then, so they're not on Sumerian Records anymore. They're on their own. They're doing their own thing. It's just something about this album, to me at least, feels a little bit more energetic at times. Feels like they feel a little bit more free to do some different things. Obviously opening up with a 16-minute long song says something to me. But then Crush is an interesting track. It's a lot of electronic sound for these guys, which that's kind of new, and it's a catchy song, but it's not something that really stands out to me too well. yeah, I enjoy this album. I'm not saying that Periphery reinvented themselves or reinvented the fucking wheel. I mean, I know some people are going to be like, "Oh, you always like Periphery," but I like this album, and I think it's good. And to me, these songs stand out a little bit more initially than the tracks on Periphery 3. And look, overall, do I think this album's better than Periphery 3? Maybe a little bit. But I don't think it's their best, for sure. But I do like the direction they're going. I like the more progressive elements that they've thrown into the tracks, of just kind of not doing the same sort of song structure and just throwing a curveball in there. Even with some of the shorter songs, I feel like they do that, and it works really well. I like the energy of some of the songs, like Blood Eagle. Sentient Glow is one that kind of has a more interesting drum pattern for Periphery, at least. It's nothing totally new, but you don't really hear Periphery with that sort of drum beat. And then that song also just has some really weird fucking riffs. Misha and Jake Bowen and Mark Holcomb. Great job on the guitars on this one, but really making things feel fat when they need to be. And I love that. I love some fat fucking guitars in my face. Feels good. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a solid album. Is this my album of the year? No. But have I enjoyed myself every time I've listened to this? Yes. It's been out for a little while now. I mean, it came out April 5th, but I believe it started to leak, and they were just like, fuck it. And they put it all up on YouTube. So let me know what you think of Periphery 4, Hail Stan. Which, last thing I'll say, is a weird album title. I don't know. I haven't seen anything of why they've called it Hail Stan, but if anyone finds anything, just leave me a comment, because I would love to know. So, yeah. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.